Hello everyone, welcome back to GGN. This is part 4, the final part for today for Wednesday, May 23rd, 2013. I'm Darko. Facebook falling out of favor with teens survey finds. Teens are sharing more about themselves on social media, but many favor Twitter to avoid parents and oversharing they see on Facebook. A U.S. poll indicates teens dislike the increasing number of adults on the site, get annoyed when their Facebook friends share inane details, and drained by the drama. So it's you go down here and it says that one 19-year-old in a focus group said she used sites other than Facebook because my mom doesn't have that. So what's interesting, though, is they want to get away from the parents. They don't want to have, them finding out what they're doing, of course, right? Which is, I guess, okay and understandable. I mean, you don't want your parents knowing that you're sleeping around and having, doing drugs and whatever else. So the thing is of course, they're going to have to worry about the other parents. So see, when they grow up and they're grown-up children and they're tax slave wage jobs, they'll be tweeting they're about taking a shit or something, or so-and-so breaking up. And then, of course, if you say the wrong things, which most people probably won't, you'll get a visit by the Secret Service, by local or federal law enforcement. So just be careful, because then the other parents will get you. Big Brother is big business, says the odds are you are not just a face in the crowd any longer. It says even if your picture isn't plastered all over social networking and photo sharing sites, facial recognition technology in public places is making it harder, if not impossible, to remain anonymous. So they go down there and they talk about one of the participants saying that you're not going to find me because I'm very careful about my photos online. And they said we found them because someone else had uploaded the photo of them. Just companies are beginning to use facial recognition technology to improve businesses. Retailers are installing cameras, some in-store mannequins to learn more about customers, while entities like malls can put cameras in digital billboards that recognize the age and gender of their shoppers. So the professor photographed random students on the campus, not only identified several of them, but in a few cases found personal information, including social security numbers, just from facial recognition program he downloaded for free. They say smartphones will make facial searches as common as Google searches in the future, and nearly everybody can be subject to such prying, even if those who are careful about their internet use. IRS scandal, armed police escort reporters through Cincinnati office. So it goes on here, it says, according to ABC, an armed uniformed police officer with the Federal Protective Service, I believe it's DHS, escorted reporters to their public building. ABC says if the intent wasn't to scare off employees who might talk, it says it was the effect. So you got to remember, what's DHS used for terrorists? How do they look at journalists? Terrorists. So star witness to stay mum for House hearing on IRS. House committee taking Congress's latest look at the IRS mistreatment of Tea Party groups will apparently have to do so without input from the star witness. IRS official Lois Lerner invoked her constitutional right to not answer questions on Wednesday. She triggered the recent IRS uproar at a legal conference nearly 2 weeks ago when she revealed that the agency had subjected Tea Party and other conservative groups seeking tax-exempt status to extra scrutiny. Emmy Award-winning CBS News investigative reporter says that her personal and says here work computers have been compromised and are under investigation. So as I can confirm that the intrusion of my computers has been under some investigation on my end for some months now, but I'm not prepared to make any allegation against a specific entity today, as I've been patient and methodical about this matter. The Obama regime spied on Fox News reporter James Rosen, says report. So, including his telephone records, tracking his movements in and out of the State Department, seizing 2 days of Rosen's personal emails, Washington Post reported on Monday. It's a chilling move, sure to rile defenders of civil liberties. So they said they're breaking the anti-espionage law with behavior like that. But it's definitely not anything new. This is something that's been going on for a while, which is why you could tell it's some kind of smoke and mirrors that's going on right now. I think, like I said, I don't think he's getting enough done. His masters want him to, so then they'll just hang him out to dry. And put the spotlight on him and his administration. But if you don't know that the IRS is that basically the federal government is spying on people and that the IRS is spying on everybody, then you need to wake up. Founder of anti-voter fraud group harassed by IRS, FBI, OSHA, and the ATF. So it says here that woman sets up or tries to set up a group to keep an eye on voter fraud, and the federal government comes down on her. Again, there's that word, chilling story. So So she tried to file for tax-exempt status 3 years ago and hasn't gotten the okay. Her business has been fined by OSHA. Her group has been publicly lambasted by Senator Barbara Boxer. Her life has been made pretty difficult, all because it appears that they wanted to make sure dead people and unregistered people weren't voting. The lawyer said, I think there's definitely a Chicago politics-style enemies list in the administration, and I think it permeates this branch of federal government. Next up, anti-war. I get a lot of my news sources. Antiwar.com sues FBI after secret surveillance. So they're taking the FBI to court. Website's founder and managing editor Eric Garris, along with longtime editor-director Justin Raimondo, filed a lawsuit in federal court today demanding the release of records they believe the FBI is keeping on them and the 17-year-old online magazine. They suddenly the press is more aware than ever that the state has the ability to secretly monitor its activities. Undercover police officers connected to NATO 5 case still spying on protesters in Chicago. So it says here on March 27th, Chicago teachers and their supporters, including parents, students, and community residents, rallied against the largest mass public school closure in U.S. history. News of the mobilization sparked huge public interest before the demonstration, including undercover police officer calling himself Danny Edwards. So it said here he's reaching out to these volunteer medics and stuff like that, nurses. His aim was basically to learn more about the next day's plans. He basically admitted to them on May 6th that he is in fact a Chicago police officer. Here he is posing with fellow Chicago Action Medical volunteers. So there you go. It's got to be creepy, man. Xbox One, constantly listening to conversations. So it says here with the announcement of Microsoft's next-generation gaming console, the Xbox One has emerged that the new system carries a device that will be constantly listening to the gamers' conversations. As far as like the spying goes, let's talk about being naive if you think that they don't do it, the IRS and the federal government and that. It says the current version of the Kinect also contains a microphone, but that can be switched off, right? It could be switched off. I don't believe any of that about switching off anything. Even these Wi-Fi routers and stuff like that. Oh yeah, just switch off Wi-Fi. The new system can automatically detect and identify users through their body shape and voice. The system can also monitor heart rates. Again, another illegal thing. It says here, we aren't using Kinect to snoop on anybody at all. We listen for the word Xbox on them and then switch on the machine, but we don't transmit personal data in any way. So, however, the company aren't exactly known for their commitment to privacy. So there you go. You go ahead and believe that. They're going to protect your privacy. So Homeland Security monitors Tea Party at Florida IRS protests on the 21st. In spite of confusing messages and midday rain showers, the Tea Party showed up in force at the local IRS office in Orlando Tuesday to express his dissatisfaction with the agency. How a computer model could help fight terrorism. So it goes on and says communication among terrorist cells work much in the same way as Justin Bieber's Twitter account. According to mathematics, I guess this professor, he built a mathematical model of the way information spreads throughout these hierarchical networks. It says their approach may give counterterrorism agents insight to terrorism hierarchies and allow them to predict terrorist attacks and sabotage networks before the attack plans can be carried out. But they say that it may not actually work. It says there will always be rogue actors who act in unpredictable ways. U.S. Special Forces getting Constellation of mini satellites to hunt down people considered to be dangerous to the U.S. and its interests. Your interests? No. Like international corporations' interest. It says here in September, U.S. government will fire into orbit two-stage rocket. Officially, the mission is a scientific one designed to improve America's ability to send small satellites into space quickly and cheaply, but the launch will also have a second purpose, to help the elite forces of the U.S. Special Operations Command hunt down people considered to be dangerous to the U.S. So it says here, special operators have used tiny tags to clandestinely mark their prey and satellites to relay information for those beacons. But they say there's areas of the world where satellite coverage is thin and there aren't enough cell towers to provide an alternative. So they're putting 8 miniature communication satellites, each about the size of a water jug, on top of the rocket that's ready to launch. They said they'll sit more than 300 miles above the Earth and provide a new way for beacons to call back to their masters. U.S. drone strikes memo reveals case for killing Americans. This is actually from February, but legal basis for using drone strikes to kill U.S. citizens has been disclosed in a leaked Justice Department memo. This, of course, sets the precedent for killing Americans. What we were talking about before. U.S. acknowledges killing 4 Americans in drone strikes. Man gets pulled over, fires AR-15 at cop. So they say it's been a tough or rough week for Colorado police. Another officer got kicked outside a bar on Monday. And someone asked if he was like a sovereign citizen or something like that. This is just, you probably see more and more of this stuff. It'll happen independently because, like I said, nobody will really be united against anything. So you'll kind of just be like, quote, lone wolf, right? Because, sovereign citizens are considered terrorists by the government, along with Tea Party activists and Ron Paul supporters. So eventually you'll see more and more of this isolated cases like this until eventually it leads into an all-out revolution. Colorado sheriffs file federal. Of course, by then it'll be completely co-opted. It'll be completely co-opted and brought to you by the powers that be. So, and that's the way it works. Colorado sheriffs file federal lawsuit challenging gun bills. 54 Colorado sheriffs had filed a federal civil rights lawsuit over 2 of the gun bills passed during this year's state legislative session. Then we have Durham police. Constable threatens to beat up man and plant cocaine on him, video shows. The officer has been disciplined after a video of his encounter with a citizen went online. So, see, you're not supposed to talk about what you're going to do. I mean, most of them already do it. They're not going to stop. But it goes on here. It says here that I hurt people and then I make their cocaine fucking appear. The armed constable barks into the face of the burly young man. You see how I work? See what I do? You may want to consider relocating. Oregon police too broke to fight crime. So Oregon is just like anywhere else. They have cops, they have state troopers, and they get federal funds. So I just don't buy this crap. And to be honest, cops don't really help protect me. I mean, just the other day, driving to the store to get some water, and I see a cop. And he's got his lights on, and I'm just like, he's gonna pull me over. And then I go past him, I see him going, and I turn, and I just pulled right over as soon as he put the lights on because I knew he was coming, put the windows up, locked the doors, and just like, here we go again, you know what I mean? He's there to collect tax revenue, but I was lucky, guys. I was lucky. I got a warning for my license plate light being out. But I honestly, personally, in the society that we live in, I think it would be better off if people could just defend themselves and not have to rely on these people who won't be able to defend them. They get a lot of money, man. There's a reason why people like cops down in South America and Central America and other places take bribes, because they don't get paid that much. They don't get all the benefits. The cops, and they don't have any qualms. They don't have any illusions about what they do. They're there to collect tax revenue. They know that. But up in the United States, they actually feel like they're like what they're doing is just, and they're protecting people. They don't think about how they're protecting the monetary system. So they don't take bribes up here in North America and the U.S., right? No, they'll just tase you and beat you and drag you out of your car. They'll issue like a $300 ticket for, not having a turn signal or something. They have huge benefits and pensions. Bill drafted in secret would block the release of some Newtown massacre records. So that's pretty interesting. So they said here they've been working on the secret with General Assembly leaders on legislation to withhold records related to the police investigation into the Newtown Elementary School massacre, including victims' photos, tapes of 9/11 calls, and more. Court rules bin Laden death photos can stay secret. Court, you got to bury something, right? Florida man under investigation for links to Boston Marathon bomber killed by the FBI. So, deceased Boston Marathon bombing suspect Tamerlan Zarniev participated in a 2011 gruesome triple homicide outside Boston, along with a Chechen that was killed early Wednesday during a confrontation with the FBI. Included a role in slashing the throats of 3 people in Massachusetts. The military asked the question of killer robots instead of soldiers. Some researchers and sellouts in Washington are concerned that in the future autonomous machines may reign over life and death. They had one researcher or expert saying they're more ethical, right, than humans. Military's growing use of ground robots raises ethical concerns. One example is South Korea. They said the machines will be equipped with machine guns and cameras, thermal imaging, and laser range finders. So it's nice to know the same person that makes your TV is making this stuff. DARPA says robotic hand strong enough to hold 50-pound weight and dexterous enough to use tweezers. Smart rifle. Company rolls out rifle that can track targets. Much like the exoskeleton, all this stuff, it'll all come together when they create, you know, cyborgs and stuff like that and regular robots. And they phase out the humans. Lastly, we have elder care robots. Thank you.